What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Last Round Boxing Podcast. You got me, Roberto.
You got me, Yohanan.
You got me, Asael.
Let's talk boxing. We had the Misfits card this past weekend. What'd you guys think?
Great fights.
Yeah.
I think it was a good Misfits event.
Card overall.
Yeah, card overall. Of course, the highlights were on the last three fights. Salt Papi versus Anthony Taylor. We had Deji versus Swarmz as a co-main event. And obviously, the fight that everyone is talking about right now is KSI against Joe Fournier.
Yeah. So, do you think it was a right hand or a hook? Or an elbow?
That is the question. That's the question that's going over. That's the question everyone is going over on the internet right now. And I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious that it was an elbow. You know, I think it's an illegal blow, accidental. You know, no respect to KSI because he was winning the fight and he definitely hurt Joe Fournier with the right hand, and that's what made Fournier want to hug. And it's unfortunate that, you know, it was a clubbing forearm that landed, just a clear forearm to the jaw that landed on Joe Fournier. So this fight should be overruled and turned into a no contest because of an accidental illegal blow.
Yeah. The thing is, like you said, Fournier was really hurt with that right hand. The thing is that surprised me about KSI was he's really quick. He has a really fast like right hand that he throws. Like that right hand that he threw that hurt Fournier a couple seconds before the elbow. It was quick. If you look at the replay, it's like he just swung in, it just spawned and just smacked him right in the face. But no, yeah, clear elbow. I don't know if it shouldn't be a DQ. It's clearly not intentional. It wasn't intentional. But yeah, I think the thing that also really made me like, you know, kind of laugh or like smile or whatever was the fact that people on Twitter were trying to justify the fact that KSI threw an elbow. They're trying to justify it by saying, "Oh, he landed first with a right before he got hit with the elbow." But like, if you clearly look at the replay, you can clearly see how the right fist of KSI just grazes Joe Fournier, and he gets just smacked with like the full elbow, like 100% clean smack with the elbow, and he just drops.
Yeah, those KSI fans were going crazy. They're definitely trying to defend, you know, what happened in the fight, trying to, you know, justify it, saying, "Oh, he was winning the fight. He was gonna win regardless." Yes, I believe it. I believe that he was gonna win, but there's always the puncher's chance. Like you can't just count him out just because he was hurt and then he landed a legal blow. You can't just be like, "Oh, well, he was gonna win regardless, so it should stay as a KO victory." It's like no, it has to be overturned. It was an illegal shot that made Fournier not able to continue. Therefore, it's a no contest because, like you said, it was not intentional. KSI didn't want to hit him with an elbow. He wasn't planning on hitting him with an elbow. He wanted to hit him with the right hand, and he gets a little wild, you know, when he has his opponent's hurt. So he missed, and boom, clear shot to the chin. It was lights out for Joe Fournier.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with the people on Twitter. Well, I guess some of the comments. Not the fact that the fight should just be ruled a KO, but that I believe KSI was going to win regardless, and I think he was going to win big by knockout. Mm-hmm. So I think the outcome was going to be the same thing, but it should definitely be changed just based off like it was an actual elbow. Mm. Funny enough, while it was when I was watching it in real time, I didn't really think that an elbow landed. I really thought it was a right hand. I was like, oh dang.
Yeah, it seemed that way. It seemed like he just he threw it so fast. It looked like he hit him and boom, he was just out. So it's very easy to in real time you could see that it didn't seem like it was an illegal blow.
Like the thing is, if that was actually a right hand that landed instead of an elbow, I think that easily would have been KSI's best knockout win because it was like spectacular the way he connected and then the way that Fournier just dropped. Because the way he dropped hard. He dropped really hard. And when the fighter drops hard like that after a punch or after contact, you know they're very badly hurt or they're just completely out. He slumped him. He was completely slumped. And, the thing is, because I remember people on Twitter were going crazy. They were saying, oh, like, once KSI knocked out Fournier, they were saying, "Oh, KSI has some unreal power. Like his power is real." They were saying he's number one pound for pound best influencer boxer in the world. This and that. But then shortly after, once the replay started coming out, that's when people are all like, "Hey, you know what? This man cheated. You know, he this should be a DQ. He hit Fournier with an elbow, this and that," and it just sparked a big controversy afterwards.
Yeah, I think the world knows. I think the internet knows. A lot of people were saying it. Like, it's a clear elbow, guys. Like, we have replays for a reason, and in the replay, it's clear as day that he hit him with an elbow. So the world does know. I think there's only, those super KSI fans that are on him like every day that are saying, well, I mean, it could still be a win and this. But I think for the most part, the public knows that it should be ruled a no contest.
Everyone knows, and especially I think the person who's gonna speak the loudest is gonna be Jake Paul. He put his 2 cents in. Saying that it was kind of like a disgrace, kind of keep it like professional and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure behind closed doors, he was probably jumping up and down saying that like this is not a legitimate victory for KSI. Yeah,
and as well, Joe Fournier, he's already made it publicly clear that he will appeal the decision. Okay. He's going to go to the sanctioning body, which is KSI's, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, so, but he did say that he's going to go to the appeal the decision. He tagged like DAZN, Misfits, everybody. He tagged everybody. He put it on a story. And he said he's going to appeal it.
Here's the thing. Even though he publicly announced like shortly after the fight, and then I think even today maybe, but he announced how he was gonna appeal the decision. The thing is, I'm not sure if even if they do appeal it, or even if it is overturned to like a no contest, I don't think KSI should really run it back with Joe Fournier. I think KSI doesn't want to do that either way. He doesn't want to have a rematch with Fournier. He wants to have one and done with. And what do you think? Do you think he should run it back, or should he just continue with his plans and just take the no contest and just move on and try to fight Tommy Fury after?
Yeah, exactly. Just like you said, they already had plans. Looking past Joe Fournier, like he was already planning on calling out Tommy Fury. Like, they already have something set for him to move forward with. So let's say it's overturned into a no contest. It wouldn't really make that much sense to reverse the progress and fight Joe Fournier again, because talking a little bit about the fight, it's clear that KSI was winning the fight. It's clear that KSI was better than Joe Fournier, and it was only a matter of time. As we can see, not taking into account the illegal blow, the first round, clear KSI. Second round as well, it was a little bit slower, but again, I think it was clear, especially after that right hand that hurt him, that KSI was gonna win the fight.
Yeah, I believe it was the first. If it wasn't the first punch that landed, it was the first hard punch that connected the right hand. Just threw it out there, and Joe kind of like went a little bit like. Took a few side steps like that,
it got him. It was a clean punch. It was like, yeah.
So definitely the things that came up into this match that we kind of knew going in was Joe was old, so the age was there, the reflexes weren't there, and KSI's power, so yeah, he doesn't have a chin. So it was pretty much once that first right hand landed, it was pretty much a when is it gonna be?
Yeah, and it's just like KSI said, he was outboxing him. He was outclassing him. Like, it was apparent, that he was better than him. That's why it doesn't really make sense to run it back, because besides the illegal blow, it should be ruled a no contest. But regardless, he was winning the fight. Regardless, he was the better man that night.
Well, I mean, yeah, Joe Fournier was a calculated risk that KSI's team used. I mean, yes, he was 9-0, but like if you look at his record of his past opponents, they were all not the very best. They're all bums. They had losing records. They weren't very good, and also Fournier was coming off 2-3 year layoff,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, layoff. He's already 40 years old. He doesn't really need this. He doesn't even need it. Not really. He doesn't even need this fight. But of course, it's like a way to cash out. I mean. You fight KSI, you're guaranteed, a good amount of cash, a good payday. So I mean, it's smart from Fournier. Of course, I think he's really happy the fact that he can appeal this decision and hopefully try to get a rematch with KSI and get another cash out. Another payday. But the thing is, if he does get it overruled, I believe KSI won't bother with the rematch. But if Fournier is really serious about it, I feel he should maybe try to build up fight again, but maybe against someone else and try to build himself up again. But I think the chances of that happening, of him actually coming back and fighting someone else besides KSI, is very, very unlikely, in my opinion.
Yeah, if it goes to a no contest, then KSI is still going to continue down his path of trying to fight Tommy Fury or trying to fight somebody else. I don't think he's going to want to fight Joe Fournier. And like you said, if Joe Fournier really wants that rematch and that get back, I think he's going to be forced to just like do something in the influencer box and get another fight, or be active, you could even get another pro fight. Just be active and then call him out again, and then maybe we could see what happens. But as for right now, no, I don't think there will be any rematch between the two.
Yeah, me too. I'm of the similar thing, and I believe I believe it's gonna get overturned, because that elbow was, it's pretty hard not to say, I think it's gonna get overturned, and I think since Joe is a businessman, I think he will want to then fight someone else, because I don't think it showed that KSI was levels above him, and I think he's looking at Tommy Fury. I think they're in negotiations as well, which is the reason why he was there at the fight. So I believe he'll fight Tommy Fury next or someone else next, and I believe since Joe's a businessman, I think he will try to get another cash cow, maybe Deji, something like that. That'd be something, something along those lines.
I don't think. Here's the thing. When it comes to switching from KSI Fournier, let's switch over to Deji and Swarmz.
Let's go down the card.
Let's go down the card. Yeah, we started main event. Now we're going co-main event. Deji Swarmz. I saw on Twitter, a lot of people were praising Deji. They were saying, "Oh, this is the best Deji performance we've seen to date." And to an extent, that is true. He dominated every single round. Swarmz didn't really put up a fight. Deji really just did whatever he really wanted to in that fight, which showed his dominance, and then it got a good reaction from the public. But here's the thing: Deji versus Fournier wouldn't happen, mainly because I think Fournier is way too heavy for Deji. Deji's fighting at 170, I believe. He's pretty light at 170. Fournier like 180, 190, somewhere around there. He's a cruiserweight. And second off, it's too much of a risk for Deji. As you can see, his last two opponents, or three opponents, I mean, if you don't minus the Mayweather fight, his last two opponents on Misfits are Fuzi and Swarmz, two fighters who aren't, very high pedigree.
Bums.
Yeah, they're not very high pedigree bums, not good fighters. And so, from fighting Swarmz to fighting Fournier is too big of a step up for Deji. And plus, here's the thing: Deji's not disciplined. He's clearly shown that he's not very committed to the sport. He says he is, but after his fight against Swarmz, Leon ended up tweeting out saying how Deji took 3 months off and had to lose, I think, 9 kg in I don't remember how much weeks. And that the Deji that fought Swarmz last night was the Deji at only 60%, and that he hopes that this fight against Swarmz knocks some sense into Deji and makes him try to use 100% of commitment towards the sport. But here's the thing: the fact that he's already not even committed shows that he has not learned from his past mistakes, from the fight against Jake Paul to Vinny Hacker, that catastrophe, to the Wasabi, to all those other losses that he took. It shows that he still has not learned. He's not committed, and I think that's his biggest flaw in his game.
Yeah, it's not a flex being lazy. Like it's not a flex. I don't know why they'd say that, acting like it's a good thing. Like, oh look, it's only 60%. It's like you signed the fight. You knew how much time you had between when you signed and the fight. So it's your responsibility as a fighter to train adequately. So if you don't put the work in, you can't complain and be like, oh, well, I was only 60%. I was only this and that. Well, that's your fault. It's your responsibility to, dial yourself in, lock yourself in, and work hard. And just like you said, it showed, because this problem has been in his, let's say, boxing career since the very beginning. Since the very beginning, KSI, when he was training with KSI, KSI told him, like, you're not training hard. You're not working hard. And still, again, in his most recent fight, when people are like now saying, "Oh, he's the better Deji now, and he's new and reformed Deji," he's still not training. So it's like either he's gonna keep on fighting opponents which he knows he can beat in you know what I'm saying, when he's not in the best shape, or he's actually gonna like lock in, work hard, and start climbing up the ladder, you know, fighting harder and harder opponents. The choice is his.
Yeah. Well, stylistic, like just style wise, like boxing stuff like that, he's definitely improved from Jake, Vinny Hacker to even Alex Bobby to now. I think it's a different Deji, it's a 2.0 Deji, but that problem still consists. Still a recurring theme, which is being inconsistent and undedicated. I don't know if he's even motivated. You know, there's all those things that are playing to a factor that are still. Well, those are his demons. You know, still there. So hopefully, if this is him at 60% and not having the right training, not the right preparation, I would like to see how far Deji can go, just in his boxing career, to see how it goes.
Well, he won't go very far unless he fights like people like, just like you said, like Fuzi and Swarm. It's like these guys aren't the cream of the crop. Like you're not going to be calling yourself top 10 pound for pound if you're fighting Fuzi and Swarms.
Yeah, I feel people are gonna start. I mean, he's already been on some people's pound for pound for like top 10, and more so with his performance against Swarms. But like what you said, those two opponents aren't you know, credible to put you in that caliber of fighters. And here's the thing: I think Deji's next move should be a Alex Wasabi rematch. This would clearly be a higher scale of opponents compared to Swarmz and Fuzi. And Wasabi has shown that he's not afraid to throw hands. You know, he actually lets his hands go. He's actually aggressive, like against iDubbbz. He was clearly like putting his hands on iDubbbz. He was lighting up iDubbbz at many points during the fight. Just his stamina was an issue. But yeah, Deji's next move should be a Alex Wasabi rematch. And if he wins, then he should definitely look forward to making more bigger fights against tougher guys. But if he loses, I'm not sure if he's gonna be willing to continue boxing. You know.
Yeah, we've already given him a lot, or not me, but the public. The public.
Let's get one thing straight.
You know, the internet has given him a lot of chances. You know, like just like you mentioned, we don't even want to talk about that catastrophe with Vinny Hacker. Like no one wants to mention that. Everyone is like, they skip over that now. It's like, it
never happened.
Yeah, like it's not very, you know. So Deji, you know, he's had some tough moments in his boxing career, and his fans have stuck by him, and the internet has stuck by him, and they've given him another chance, multiple chances. And so they better, you know, he better perform. Like we're expecting performances, not just against Swarmz and Fuzi. Like, okay, maybe he wants to get some in the win column and then start fighting better fighters. Okay, well, show us that. Like he called out Liam Payne. Who is that?
I don't know.
Some artist? Like what is like you're gonna whoop his ass, like Deji. Of course you're gonna whoop his ass, but that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove that you're a better fighter. That doesn't prove that you're working harder. That doesn't prove that you're more dedicated to the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna show anything. You're gonna fight bums. You get some wins. Like, cool. That's dope. But don't take yourself. Don't call yourself like a real, you know, YouTube boxer. Don't call yourself like you're taking this seriously, because it's pretty clear that you're not. And from your coach's comment, it's clear that you're not.
Yeah, it's like almost like blind confidence, no? Like beating a whole bunch of bums and then actually believing like
saying you're like top 10. Yeah,
yeah.
like.
Yeah, so I think Deji's in a little tough situation because the low opposition within around that weight class, like Slim would sleep Deji. Anthony Taylor would beat him.
Oh yeah, Anthony Taylor beat him.
Are they around the same weight, or is it like a 10-pound?
Yeah,
same weight?
Yeah. And I think Taylor said he could go lower,
even lower than that.
Yeah.
So. And then I don't know if Salt Papi
could beat him. Some people would beat it. Yeah.
Weight. Yeah, so it's a tough situation. So if Deji really wants to see this boxing thing as a long term, he has to make those hard decisions and say, you know, let's hope for the best and see how much I can improve with, you know, every fight. So hopefully get my name within those top 5, top 3 of the
division.
Yeah, division.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to Deji and the opponents he could possibly face, I feel he should really back away from fighting fighters with high output, with high volume of punches, like an Anthony Taylor who would just put aggressive, just be aggressive and stuff like that against you. Because essentially that's what Alex Wasabi did against Deji in the first fight. He was just really aggressive. He let his hands go at points, and Deji, because he's such a low output fighter, he's gonna struggle a lot with a guy who just continuously putting pressure and just continuously throwing punches. So I believe Deji loses against an Anthony Taylor. He loses against a Salt Papi. I think he gets demolished by a Gib. Absolutely, I think he gets stopped. He gets dogged on against Gib. Against any of these top big names in the scene, I think Deji. I think he loses. I think Deji, his best type of opponents would be like a Bryce Hall, even an Alex Wasabi. Alex Wasabi's not an elite, but an Alex Wasabi would be a great name.
A step up.
Those types of names, those types of fighters are in his category, because anything above that, I feel that's where Deji's absolutely gonna crumble. He's not gonna succeed.
Yeah, and like you talked about, let's talk about his style a little bit in the Swarmz fight, because like you said, his kryptonite is high volume punchers, and I wouldn't even say that. I'd just say fighters that don't even just go to the ropes. Like we saw in this fight against Swarmz, all he was trying to do is get him in the ropes, and then finally he'd unload. But in the middle of the ring, he'd barely throw any jabs. He wouldn't really throw combinations together. He'd just try to feint his way finally until Swarmz is on the ropes, and then he finally starts throwing punches. So if you're fighting Deji and you don't go to the ropes, Deji's going to have a super low output, and he's going to give you opportunities for you to counter him. So, like, with these guys that are not, if he fights guys that are not afraid of him and they're going to stand in the ring and keep the distance and circle around the ring, Deji's not going to be able to do anything to them. He's not going to be able to touch them, and especially if they're aggressive towards him, he's going to have trouble.
Oh, especially those fighters that just don't go back. Oh, they're definitely going to go forward.
Yeah.
Slim, Gib.
He's gonna have trouble with those guys, because he's not gonna be able to keep up with the pace. Yeah. He's not gonna be able to keep up with the pace.
Yeah, it's gonna be really easy for them to beat Deji.
Deji's style has a lot of flaws. Like it's not very. He needs a certain type for him to look good. He needs a certain type of style. He struggles a lot with those pressure fighters, high volume fighters, where he either has to work on that in the gym or he has to completely avoid them.
Yeah. No, like you said, like you mentioned the point of he was struggling against fighters who are not scared of him, like who don't show him any respect, and that's exactly what Vinny Hacker didn't show him any respect. Even though Deji was landing that left lead, continuously throughout the fight, Vinny Hacker showed no respect, and he still came at him and still beat him. Alex Wasabi showed him no respect, and he still beat him. Jake Paul showed him no respect, and he still beat him. Floyd Mayweather didn't show him no respect, and he still beat him. No, but yeah, exactly. So once you're fighting like a Gib 100% will not show you any respect. That man's been to the lowest. He's been at the bottom.
At the bottom of the bottom.
At the very bottom of this influencer boxing scene. He's been at the very bottom. He's been ridiculed. He's not gonna show you any respect. He showed no respect to Holder. He showed no respect to McBroom twice. And I know for sure against Jarvis, he's gonna show absolutely no respect. Yeah. So like once you're fighting those types of fighters with that type of mentality, that's Deji's biggest kryptonite, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like they always say, it's easy to look good against a punching bag, but it gets hard when he knows how to fight. Yeah,
punching bag is throwing punches back at you.
It's like
Well, interested to see what's next for Deji. The other person who I'm interested to see what's next is the Salt Papi. That train came to a screeching halt.
Hype train is done.
Yeah.
Hype train is done.
Yeah. Well, what'd you guys think of that fight?
Yeah. Man, I didn't even know.
Wait, first off, I want to say I called it. I'm probably gonna say it on camera, but I told you guys individually that I thought Anthony Taylor was going to beat Salt Papi. And I'm the mystic man.
I can confirm he did. He was saying that multiple times, and I called him crazy. I thought Salt Papi was gonna win, and it's true. He did call it.
Did you think he was gonna win or KO him?
I thought he was gonna just outpoint him. Yeah, because Taylor doesn't really hit hard.
Not really.
He's not a hard puncher, but he's just a dog. He's just gonna dog you out. And I what I told you guys, and I'm gonna say it right now. I believe they were trying to push Salt Papi too fast. You know, they're trying to move him along way too fast. Because I mean, there's clearly a lot of potential in Salt Papi being the next another big
big superstar.
Another big superstar like Jake Paul, KSI, even the Logan Paul when Logan Paul was still fighting. So there's a lot of potential for him, and I know like Happy Punch or Keemstar, they saw this potential and they were like, hey, like, you know, we want to push him out, we want to give him a fight because if he's able to become a star, that's a lot of money, it's a cash cow. And I mean, I understand that Salt Papi's last opponent dropped, which is why Anthony Taylor stepped in. But then again, it showed that Salt Papi's not at that level yet to be fighting like professional fighters. Because at the end of the day, Anthony Taylor is a pro fighter. He has some experience. He's not a very good one, but he has experience inside the ring, you know. And that's what Salt Papi lacks in experience, and it really showed in his fight against Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, that's really all it is. It's not that Anthony Taylor is a better boxer. It's not he has better skills, better, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff. It's just that he was more experienced in there, and he knew how to draw Salt Papi into his fight. Because Salt Papi, he started off the fight well. He was countering, and he's doing what he's doing, you know what I'm saying? Sticking the jab out, waiting. If his opponent came in, boom, straight left hand, and maybe a hook as well. Okay, that's fine. If he would have stuck to that, he would have been perfectly fine. But Anthony Taylor, being Anthony Taylor, he's gonna land some shots. Like he landed a couple left hands, or right hands, or whatever.
Right hands.
Right hands to Salt Papi, and that made Salt Papi feel some type of way. So he was like, okay, I'm gonna get that get back. But then he started going forward, started not paying attention to his defense, and started getting caught. And then this was Anthony Taylor's fight. This is where he excels. So he just started dogging him, started, you know, getting in clinches, just like working and making it messy. Like it just showed Salt Papi he definitely has a lot of learning to do. He definitely has to be more patient and like not let people draw him into those type of fights where he doesn't know how to fight on the inside. He doesn't really know those, like he's a more distance fighter, counter puncher. If he's gonna go forward and pressure his opponents, he definitely has to learn more that skill set.
Yeah,
because it showed that he lacked that. This fight.
Yeah, I think people forget, and I saw Twitter saying something along the lines of someone retweeted it when Anthony Taylor's hand got raised. They said pro MMA, pro boxer cries after beating a TikToker.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
So but people do forget that he has prior combat experience. Like MMA fighter, pro boxer. Has he done other things?
I don't think so.
I don't think so,
but like still,
that's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
And he knows his place. He knows what he's about. He is one of those guys who, what do you call it? The ones that they give to the prospects.
He's like a journeyman.
Like
a tough journeyman.
He knows how to survive in sticky, hard situations. He's had previous hard fights against other various opponents.
Against professionals, yeah.
Against actual professionals. Yeah. So it was pretty evident that like there was levels above. Salt Papi came in thinking that he was just gonna touch Taylor and he was gonna fall, and he ended up touching him. I believe Taylor landed the more cleaner, more eye-opening shots, and Salt Papi landed the more harder punches because Taylor was bleeding from the nose, but it was pretty evident. It was Anthony Taylor's style, the way he fights, so it was a good night for him.
Do you guys think that the three rounds instead of being a 4 or even a 6 is what affected Salt Papi? Because there were such short rounds and they were 2 minutes. Were they 2 minutes?
I don't think so.
Either way, regardless, it was 3 rounds. And do you guys think that affected Salt Papi's performance?
I do think so. I mean, just based off of his style, the type of style that he wants to fight, he's a very patient fighter. But then Anthony Taylor drew him out of that and made him very impatient, just trying to go after him. But Salt Papi's style is a very patient counterpunch style, set up traps, not very good traps, but you know, that's what he tries to do. And I think ideally his style would be longer rounds. However, I think he did get tired. And I think Anthony Taylor didn't get tired. In the last round, Anthony Taylor was like being like very jumpy, still looked lively, very active. Salt Papi didn't look that great in the last round. He looked a bit, a little sluggish. You could tell his punches didn't have that much pop anymore. So ideally, his style, yes, it would require longer rounds. But if that fight went longer rounds, I don't think it would have gotten any better. Simply the fact that his stamina wasn't going to be able to hold up.
I think Anthony Taylor would have pieced him up even more, just given the way the fight was going. It looked like Anthony Taylor was getting another second win in the final round. So imagine if it was 4. Yeah, I don't think they've ever fought. Are they fighting 4 or 6 rounds?
KSI Joe Fournier was 6 rounds.
6 rounds, but like Salt Papi's last fight was just. I know it ended early, but it was just 4. It was just 4. Yeah, so if it was 4, I think Anthony Taylor would have had an even bigger round, the last round. So yeah, yeah. So what do you guys think? What's next for Salt Papi now that this train is stopped?
That's a big question. I think that's the question everyone's asking right now. What's next? Considering the hype that this man had, he fought Halal Ham in his debut. Absolutely UD'd him. Good boxing he showed. And then he fought Worski, which he knocked out in the first 30, 40 seconds. And then he fought Josh Buccaneer, and just stopped him in the second, I believe. And for him to come out with a tough loss like this against Taylor, I know Salt Papi, it does hurt him a lot. But the thing is, I think the influencer boxing is really more. It's more like like the UFC MMA community, and the fact that if the fighter loses, they're still gonna get backed up. They're still gonna get put into shows. So Salt Papi still he the best thing he can do just learn from this, and if he wants, I believe he could still he could just jump right into another big fight, even after this loss. Like he doesn't have to take a tune-up fight. Depending on how he feels, if he doesn't feel as confident anymore and he wants to get a win to, just kind of, bring himself back up, then maybe yes. But he could make a big fight. He could fight a big name even after this loss, like his next fight.
I agree. I think I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, Salt Papi's finished. Salt Papi's finished." I'm like, no. Like what? I'm like, that's absolutely not true, and it's so apparent. There's so many fighters in the influencer boxing scene that have lost. Look at Deji. We just finished talking about Deji. He's lost 3 times, and they still bring him back. It doesn't matter if you lose, unless maybe you get like slept. Then maybe it's a bit different story. But he didn't get slept. Like he got out dogged. He just didn't have the experience. And this is absolutely not the end of Salt Papi. Like you said, the best thing he could do from this is learn, continue to improve his skill set, and because this showed him a lot of flaws that he has. So he definitely has a lot of work to do in the gym, and depending on whether he feels it right mentally, he could definitely jump into another big fight. There's absolutely nothing stopping him from jumping into another big fight, because I'll tell you this: if he goes to Happy Punch and tells them, "Hey, I want a big fight," of course they'll give him a big fight. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, and plus he didn't get his ass beat. He just lost. He just lost by a dude who made a ugly fight, and it just was able to land better, more cleaner punches and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad. It wasn't that bad of a loss. I think Salt Papi's gonna come back even better now. I believe so. Yeah, he should. Just based on the fact that I think this was kind of like a humbling experience for him. Yeah, I think now he's gonna go back to the drawing board. I see some similarities between him and Manny Pacquiao a little bit, just depending on how he's able to bounce back from this loss. Before Manny Pacquiao had his first loss here in the United States, once he was more well known, against Eric Morales, people forget he had 2 previous losses, back in the Philippines. And Manny Pacquiao said that after losing, one of the losses was a KO body shot, and after that he learned from it and started having better abs, better physique, taking better care of himself and stuff like that. So I believe Salt Papi is a smart fighter. I think he's in this sport for the long run. So I think he's gonna learn from this, bounce back, come back even stronger.
Yeah, I mean that goes with any big boxing guy. Like when they make a comeback, a lot of these guys, I mean it depends. Some guys can't recover from a loss, but other guys, take that loss, internalize it, and then come back stronger and better. And hopefully, I hope Salt Papi does, because he definitely does have skills, and he definitely does know what he's doing in there, but he just needs more experience, and this fight showed him that. So hopefully he learns from it and comes back stronger.
Yeah.
Speaking of bouncing back from a loss, Rolly came back
Rolly's back, baby.
Rolly came back.
New face of boxing incoming. We got a world champion on our hands at 140. Rolly Romero came off that TKO victory against Ismael Barroso, I think.
Barroso, yeah.
Barroso, a
That's
Venezuelan.
yeah.
And let's just say there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. So, how'd you guys feel about that fight?
Well, first off, I believe I believe Gervonta Davis took something out of Rolly, in the aspect of aggression, in the aspect of just confidence in general. Yeah, this fight was did not go anywhere near where I thought it was gonna go. You know, everyone expected Rolly to just absolutely just dismantle this guy, right? You know, to just knock him out cold, you know, early on in the fight, and you know, end of it, and then become a new world champion. But it didn't go that way. Barroso was getting the best out of the exchanges. He was timing Rolly every single time, and he even dropped Rolly in the third round with a left down the middle, and Rolly went crashing down. And even after that moment, Barroso just kept on just doing what he was doing and just kept on working. And I felt Rolly made no adjustments whatsoever throughout the fight. And that round 9 was a little controversial, let's say.
Yeah, just like you said, like nothing went according to plan that night. You know, it was this. Rolly was going in a 10-1 favorite. He was going against a 40-year-old Venezuelan. You know what I'm saying? Already at the end of his career. This fight was for him to bounce back from the Gervonta Davis loss, come back with a clear, spectacular knockout, and cement him as a world champion at 140. And it did not go that way from the opening rounds. I'll give
Credit.
Not some credit, but like I won't criticize Rolly as much. Like I think he was trying. I think he was trying a new style. He was trying to like box more. During the whole build up to this fight, he kept on talking. I don't know if you guys saw, but he was very like humble, very much less outspoken than what he was against the Davis. People were saying that he learns humility and stuff like that. And throughout the press conferences, throughout the build up, he kept on talking about patience and how he learned patience and this and that. And I think that's kind of what he was trying to do. He was kind of trying to be more patient, trying to like learn the boxing side of fighting because just like you said, his other style was like being very aggressive, just like going after him, just going crazy on his opponent, smothering them with punches and aggression and pressure. So I think that's what he was trying to do. Executed very poorly, you know. And Barroso was there. He surprised me, you know. Barroso he's a smart guy. He definitely has power. Just like you said, he has timing. He timed them very well. He did get caught in that 9th round, and he was definitely hurt. But the stoppage was very, very bad by 20 weeks.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is that every time, and this is not the first time, this is not going to be the last time this happens, where a boxing ref comes in and stops it prematurely or stops it when it shouldn't be stopped. I feel like something should be done, though, to those referees that just stop it way too early or just it's very controversial. So I feel like something should happen.
Yeah, because this is not the first time. Like this is age old in boxing. There's a reason some people and there's a stereotype that boxing is corrupt. And to some part, it's true. Like because it's like, what is this? Like what just happened? Like come on, like this is absolute bullshit. I'd be furious if I was Barroso. I was winning the fight. Like I would be so angry. And just like you said, I think there should be some type of like suspension or something, a fine to Tony Weeks, something to like show the public that you're putting accountability to those people, because it's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to Barroso. It's not fair to the public. It's not fair to the world champion. It's not fair to Rolly even. Like this is not a bad look for boxing, and boxing is looking for someone for them to finally put the foot down and be like, hey, no, you're going to take accountability for this because you messed up. You made the wrong call. So you're going to have to live with it.
Yeah, and it's really tough once you put money into it because, like, a 10-1 favorite.
Huge favorite.
Barroso needed to knock him out in order for them to give him his belt. Yeah, because I know damn well Showtime was not going to want a 40-year-old to be
as a world champion.
As a world champion.
Yeah, so
Tony Weeks did his
his due diligence.
Due diligence.
You know, he was looking out for the fighters. He definitely he messed this up big time. Rolly was not looking good. This was not a good not a good showing for Rolly after his loss. Nothing went according to plan.
He after the fight and the post interview in the ring, he called out Ryan Garcia. What do you guys think of that fight? A 140 fight between world champion Rolly against Ryan Garcia. What do you guys think of that fight?
I got Rolly by KO. Honestly, I'm not sure because earlier I would have said Rolly, but after this performance, I'm not sure. I got some doubts about Rolly now, and as well about Ryan Garcia. We saw in that Davis fight, he has a ton of holes, but those holes can only be exploited by a master counterpuncher like Davis. Davis was able to piece them together because Davis is a world-class fighter. Davis knows what he's doing inside of that ring. He knows distance. He knows range. He knows when his opponent's overreached. Davis knows how to counterpunch. And in this fight with Rolly, I think that's what Rolly was trying to do, trying to counterpunch and be on the back foot, time him. And he didn't do a good job. It showed that if this is the style that he wants to continue with, he has a lot of work to do. He was not a very good counterpuncher. He did counterpunch a couple times. He did land some clean shots on Barroso, but it was few and far apart. It was he missed so much opportunities because Barroso was giving him plenty of opportunities.
Yes.
He
was there.
Yeah, he was there to get countered, and Rolly didn't take advantage of that nearly as much as he could have. So, I feel like that'd be a good fight. Garcia and Rolly at 140.
Yeah, very good fight. I think since there's sparring footage of them sparring, and I guess you guys can look and
viral
viral
sparring
of the sparrings. But I think there's a lot of things to take into consideration if they were to fight. Do we think the question is, do we think Rolly is better now, or do you think he still has that after a fighter gets knocked out, you never know if they're back 100% or not. We're not sure. That left hand that Barroso landed on Rolly, it wasn't on chin. It was more up here. Yeah. You can't say credit to Barroso because he does have that puncher's. He does punch. He does pack a punch. So we don't know. Rolly not being able to let his hands go or even touch a guy who's way slower than Ryan Garcia and who's shorter. Well, it's Ryan can just use that to his advantage. Just keep him at bay, long hand with the jab. Very much quicker. Use those legs to move around. And Rolly doesn't seem to have a really good sense of being able to cut off the ring effectively and then letting his hands go.
Yeah, I do think Rolly still has that dog in him because at some points in the fight, he was standing there and he was going forward. But then in other points, he just start literally just running around in circles. So I think it was a clear decision by him what type of style he wanted to fight. That's why I'm saying I'm not criticizing him all the way because I don't think that because he showed that in some points he was going forward and pushing back Barroso. I just think that so there's still a lot of unknown. I think it's a great fight because both fighters have a lot of doubts surrounding them right now. So a fight like that, which is a very big fight, very big fight, could prove that they're back, or it could prove that they're taking it serious. It could prove they're ready, So I think it's a great fight. Two fighters who have doubts, and they can solve their
Who's still young too as well.
Yeah. I think it's a great fight, honestly.
I think it's a fight that we'll definitely see down the road. I don't know how much longer.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be next. Boxing. I don't think it's gonna be next, but hopefully, yeah.
Even that's the thing. Rolly, I think Rolly's time as champion is very limited right now. So if he wants to get the most out of getting these championship fights, getting these big paydays, he needs to be doing it as soon as possible because. Let's face it. If he tries to unify and he tries to fight another champion like a Matias or a Pro Grace, a Taylor, he gets molded. He gets absolutely destroyed. I'm sorry. He does. He's the weakest link out of all the champions. And I think his based on his performance too, people are having big doubts about him. So if he wants to make big fights, maybe not fight another champion, but maybe just fight someone else. He should start doing them right now. Try to get a Ryan Garcia fight ASAP. Get that quick payday. Maybe even win. If he wins, then he's set up for more big fights as champion. But no, I believe his time as champion is very limited. Very limited at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to try to unify anytime soon. Maybe the other champions would try to. I don't think he really wants to at this time.
Matias and Prograis.
Yeah, Matias and Prograis. There's some real killers in that weight class. That at the very top of them, at the very top of that weight class, like there's some killers in there. So, Rolly still, and just like we said, he's still young, and he only has 16. This is only his 16th fight.
Yeah.
So he still has a lot to learn. He still has a lot to learn. Hopefully he's taking it seriously. Hopefully he's willing to learn and grow, and continue to make these big fights happen. Because he's a big name fighter.
Yes.
He does have a big name.
Yeah.
He has a following, and he's entertaining. People like to watch him. And this fight definitely didn't show that. But like in general, in his past, Rolly is a very entertaining fighter. So hopefully he learns, gets better, and puts on more entertaining fights as a champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very excited to see what's next for him after this fight.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fight predictions. We got a big fight this week. Big fight. Devin Haney versus Vasiliy Lomachenko Saturday for all the belts. What do you guys got?
I got Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney's too big, too young, too fast, too long, too good to for Vasiliy to overcome, especially at the age that he is at now and the time that he's taken off. I just think Devin's getting right into his stride. He's a very good fighter, and Lomachenko's too old, too small to do anything against Devin Haney. I got Haney by UD.
I have Haney winning the fight too, by points. But the thing is, I still see in Lomachenko an old veteran who wants those belts back. He's a very disciplined fighter, who has a good work ethic, who's really determined, and this is his. I know he himself knows this is his last shot at getting those belts. Becoming undisputed at that weight. So I know for sure he's training 100%. He's putting in everything, working hard in the gym. The thing is, Haney has not fought anyone from that level yet. Kambosos was not anywhere near a Lomachenko level. Linares was not level near that level either. Clearly the biggest step or the biggest fight in Devin Haney's career, but I do think his youth as well as his just physical advantage that he has over Lomachenko is what really gonna get him over, and get him that win.
Yeah, Devin Haney, especially some of the recent photos that I've seen online, he is in phenomenal shape. I have never seen him like that. Even when he fought, who did he fight? I guess was it Kambosos? He was also pretty much six packs. This picture that I saw was had zero fat. This guy is ready. He knows it too. If he were to lose at 140, that's another level opposition where it's difficult. You got Matias, you got Lopez, you got Taylor, Prograis, another set of tough level opposition. So I think for Haney, he's taking this very much serious, not trying to leave any stone unturned. So if I were to put money, I'm gonna put my money on probably Haney. Although up until recently, I really thought even last year, I think if you'd asked me last year between Haney versus Loma, I would have told you Loma. But I think now the times have changed. I think Haney and his dad has timed it really perfectly to the point where Loma's on the lower end of his career. Haney is a rising superstar, and I think he'll come out victorious this Saturday.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Haney didn't win. I'd actually be genuinely shocked because although Lomachenko definitely, I'm sure he's working hard. He's always been a hard worker. I'm sure he's coming there to fight, and I know he wants to complete his dream of becoming undisputed at that weight.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. It's too Haney's just too good. Haney's too good. People do I feel like people do downplay him sometimes, and hopefully let's see at this fight. Let's see how well he does against his best level of opposition. Another master boxer. Let's see how it is two master boxers going against each other.
Yeah, like what you're saying right now. Their Top Rank is promoting this fight as like a chess match, which it is because you said there's two master boxers. Two big, great IQ fighters who are gonna fight, and I'm interested to see how Lomachenko deals with just the physical advantages that Haney has, especially that jab. That jab from Haney is his best weapon. So I'm eager to see how Lomachenko deals with it, how what he does to try to get around it. I'm also like eager to see how Devin Haney deals with Lomachenko's angle switches. How he's able to counter him and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting fight. I think it's probably the biggest fight we've had since the Garcia and Gervonta fight. It's clearly gonna be a very, very high level,
high IQ. Yeah. A lot of. I think it's gonna be very technical.
Yeah.
Very technical. Because both fighters don't really have like pop like that. Also as well, but Haney in his last fight against Kambosos, he did start lighting him up. In that last fight, he was lighting him up in like a couple rounds. He was lighting him up and hurting Kambosos,
Yeah,
but
he was putting up like 3-4 punch
combinations,
that
that were hard, yeah.
Kambosos was just kind of
taking them, yeah, just
I'm
taking
too
them.
Excited to defend and
Yeah,
get out of it.
So yeah, we'll have to see,
Yeah, that's one thing I'm gonna look in. Like that's one of the things I want to see is the pop, who has more power, because Haney is not known to have pop, but he's gonna be the way bigger guy in the ring come fight night. And Loma has some pop. It's decent, but like we'll see when he fought his last opponent Ortiz. It didn't seem it was too evident like that.
Yeah, because he
But
he doesn't have power with those big guys. Yeah, he just doesn't have power with those big
He
guys.
doesn't have that chin either. So
Yeah,
there's so many things. So I think it's pretty. I think it's a good setup the way they're promoting this fight chess match. There's so many things that could happen.
Yeah.
Fights.
Yeah, very very excited. This is gonna be a big night, a big week of boxing this weekend. And I'm all here for it. I'll be tuning in for all the belts. The king of the 135 lightweight division. Let's see who it is.
Sir, anything else?
I think we covered it.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Let us know what fights you guys are eager to see. Who do you guys got? Devin or Loma?
Yeah. What are your predictions? Put them down in the comments. So we'll read them over.
Until then, this is Roberto.
Johanan.
And also Al.
This is the Last Round Boxing Podcast. Peace.
Peace.